to Jack, he talked about warming up for tournaments or any round of golf. So he said one of the most important things once you get loose is put the ball, put it on a tee or whatever, and just make some little swings and find the face, which is interesting. So you just start making some little swings and just run the club face into the ball solid. And then gradually get some control of the face, so curve it a little bit and then build your swing. But his whole deal was he watches people and they start swinging too big, too fast with no face control. So when he talks about golf, he talks about applying the club head to the ball to get the desired results. Apply the club head, not your hips, not your shoulders, but get some feel for the club face and the club head. So if you spend a little more time with that before you play, you're going to shoot a lot better scores. We all talk about grip pressure. Good players are getting their grip pressure, or a feel for the club, the tension level they need before every shot. You know, his deal was when he watches amateurs, they're so tight and no preparation, no getting ready to feel the club. So how does he do it? Well, if you watch most tour players, they're always doing this kind of thing with the club. So they're getting the feel for the weight of it. So they're always throwing the club around. I mean, the club's part of them. And so this is a way to kind of get a feel for the weight of the club head. Now, what does Jack do? As he walks up to the ball, he sees his shot. Now, as he walks up, he'll be swinging the club like this, and a lot of the tour players do this also. And then what he does is he tosses the club up. So to toss the club up, his arms have to be soft. Now, when he tosses it up and puts the club up here, that also helps you get it more in your fingers. And then he'll bring the club down to about level, a little too tight. Get a feel for the tension you need, your hands, arms, and shoulders. Now, once they've established this relationship with that, the lack of tension in their wrists, what their shoulders feel like, then they stand up to the ball and go ahead and make a swing with that same tension level. So when you're out practicing and playing, get a feel for the club head, have that be part of your routine to get a sense of what you're trying to do with the club. A chance to talk to Jack the other day about his golf swing and about all this resistance in people's hips. He goes, I never tried to resist my hips. He says, in fact, when he started back, he had this left leg would rotate in. That's what his teacher taught him. So this leg would rotate, and that would rotate in, and then he'd turn his right hip back as far as he could go. So really what happened is when he went back, that left leg went in, so this hip kind of stayed there, and his right would move as far out of the way as he could get it. So he didn't feel any tension in his hips. He just let his right hip rotate back as far as it could go. And when he did that, then he created all this space for him to get his arms into. So in his opinion, and mine too, all this restricted hips is doing nothing more than getting everybody in the way of the golf ball. So your arms have no place to go. So when you set up to the ball, you got to go ahead and let your right hip move back. It turns back. As your pelvis rotates, the right hip has to go back as much as the left hip goes forward, which is what Jack wanted to have happen. Get the right hip out of the way. So his swing was set up. When he went back, left turns in, right hip gets out of the way, and that gave him a lot of room to get his arms down into the ball. So don't restrict your hips. Let that right hip turn back so there's room for your arms.